Hello, 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 Facebook family. How are you this evening on March the 20th, 2023? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Bridging Through Conversations, closing the gap through communicating with each other and having a great conversation to see where we are in life, to get some to be educated about all things. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to do a disclaimer here. This platform discusses any and all information that is known to the public and that are opinions of the host and guests. We use sources that are unconventional and conventional. Bridging through conversations is in no way to be offensive to any persons, groups, or organizations. It creates open conversations needed to close gaps and topics others may not be willing to discuss. The information is alleged to others, but are our truths to having open conversations. Okay, so we're gonna get started on this day. Hello, 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 guys. How are you? Hey, Tasha. Listen, my name is Diane, it's Spirit Love, and I love you, and there's nothing that you could do about it but love me back. And tonight we're going to have a great conversation of an apology and of this thing that they're talking about woke. I have really been having a different definition about it, and I want to see what you guys think about this woke thing and what it really means and all that stuff. What about you, Tasha?
Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, it was
I can't
low.
hear
The
you now.
volume was low. You
Okay.
can't hear
All
me?
right. You on. You on now.
Okay. Okay. Why do I always have issues with my volume? What in the world is going on? Well, hey,
It's
hey, hey,
all
everybody.
right.
Happy Monday to you. This is Tasha, aka TC Knows. No, I do not know everything, but I love sharing with you what I do know. So, about this woke thing, like I said earlier when we talked on the phone, or had a brief conversation through texting. I am not too familiar on this topic, this subject. I've heard people talk about it on certain things, and I just sit back and I listen because I'm not in the habit of trying to jump in a conversation and I don't know too much about it. If I don't know too much about it, then I keep my mouth closed. But I believe that there are some topics that I have, interest in that I'm concerned about, especially when it comes to, for instance, like when they took the Bible out of the school. I remember growing up in elementary school, we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance. We had to put our hand on our heart, and when we got to the word was say about God, honey, we was all loud in that classroom. And so when they took the Bible out of school and prayer out of school, it just seemed like everything just started going to the bad. Not for the good, but to the bad. So my take on that is that of course it should have never happened, but hey, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I know a
Well,
lot of folks can go back and forth about that one though.
yeah. Well, I think that this thing about the wokeness part, I've always thought that woke meant that you are enlightened now. You are enlightened now on certain situations in life, and you're more educated on what
Hmm.
you did not know, and now you can move forward and have a decent conversation, with somebody else about different things. I was talking to my youngest son today when I was on my way home, and I was talking to him about it, and he said, "Well, Mom, I used to didn't read. I used to wouldn't read and stuff, but when I started driving." when he started driving his truck, that all of the drivers were talking about so many different things, so many different topics and stuff, and he didn't know too much about it. So he's like, Mom, I just started reading, and now I can hold just about any conversation with anyone. So that's my interpretation, of being woke, that you're enlightened on things and you're educated about, certain things, in life, because we don't want to go around and just not know, anything. You just, for an example, like with you, you're learning different crafts, right? You're
Yeah.
not sitting around not doing anything like that hoodie that you have on. I'm gonna stop talking about that hoodie. But anyway, so so you're enlightened on different arteries. That's probably not a word, but different forms of art, that it may not be like drawing, painting and stuff like that, but you have art in making your t-shirts and your bracelets and your necklace and things. And not only that, I think you were doing stamps on your t-shirts. I said that. And didn't you do some flip-flops or something, and bands
Mm-hmm.
like that?
Yep.
Yeah, so you were enlightened on different things that you can create, on your own. And that was through probably like seeing somebody else, and then you say, oh God, I like that. I'm gonna educate myself on that. I'm gonna
Yep.
learn, how to do this certain thing, right? So that's what I'm thinking, about woke, in a positive way, right? But now it's being drawn into this negative thing, right? And then, a lot of people don't want to talk about race. Nobody want to talk about race, right? But you can't help but to talk about race, right? Because the way things are going, on in this world. So race always come into the picture, right? But it seemed like every time that every time the black community do something, they look at it in a negative way, right? But then they take it and either put it in a negative way, continue to put it in a negative way that will turn around and punish the ones that invented the thing, right? Because I was reading about it. And they say that this word woke, even though we use it anyway in sentence, like I woke up this morning. When you was in school, you learn you use those things because it's the past tense of wake, right? So it's
Yeah.
woke. I woke up this morning, right? So, but in the Erica Badu, as you would call her, she came out with the song with woke. It says woke's transformation into a byword of social awareness likely started decades early, but began to be more broadly known in 2008, right? With the release of Erica Badu's song Master Teacher. I ain't never heard that one from her, right? The one that always stand out with her is, I'm going to tell you, you better call Tyrone, you know,
Yeah.
that, right? But this is where they say that she's the one that really started this woke. And in her words, it says, even if your baby, and it makes sense, even if your baby ain't got no money to support your baby, I stay woke, right? Even when the preacher tells you some lies and cheating on your mama, you stay woke. I stay woke. Even though you go through struggles and strife to keep a healthy life, I stay woke. I stay woke. Everybody knows a black or Everybody knows a black or a white. There's creatures in every shape and size. Everybody. I stay woke, right? And what she's saying in this thing is she's staying educated. She's staying educated. She's going ahead of where you think I should stay. Just because even if your baby ain't got no money, you don't worry. You continue to make that money because you shouldn't be dependent on somebody else, right? So it's more like you educating yourself. I'm woke on this thing. It's not like people may think that I'm asleep on this, right? But I'm not. I'm not asleep. I understand this, right? And that's what I feel like that woke should be. It's just like injustice and systemic racism and all of these things that's floating around, in this world, right? We should stay woke on it to be educated on it. So that's basically what woke really is, right? Because even the definition of woke means alert to injustice or discrimination in society, especially racism, to be informed. So to be woke is to be informed on things, to be educated about all facets of life, right? All way, like in the Bible when they talk about the different faces that's on the creature and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
all facets of life, not just this front of your face, not this side, not just that side, but all around. That you should be educated about those things, because if you're not woke, then you're gonna mess around and get caught up, in some things that you don't realize, that's going on, in life. So our
Yes.
best bet is just to, be aware of everything. And so what they did, they turned it around and made it a bad thing to say that, you don't want to be woke on Black history. And basically is what they're saying is that I'm going to cut certain things out of Black history so everybody won't know about what truly happened during slavery, or with the Indians, how they came to, the United States of America, what they call it now, to in the native land, because this whole United States where it was Indian, right? It was born, the natives was here, right? So no, they don't want nobody to know about the real history, of the United States. So what they want us to do is be sleep. They say we don't want this wokeness. We want you to stay asleep. Basically, that's what they're saying. They don't
Yeah.
want us to be woke to what's going on, in society. But we have to, because if we don't stay aware of history, history will most definitely repeat itself. So you
Yeah.
got to be aware of that. And if the things pass that they're saying that they don't want us to have, like for example, I think you said you do know about how they taking books off the shelves, at school, where they don't want you to read certain books about history,
Yeah.
about Black history is basically, right? And
Right.
other race of history, right? They don't want you to know about that, but they want you to know all of the whiteness of the history, because they want it to always stay lily white for them, right? But it's not a good picture, of what happened, and
Yeah.
you can't erase history. I don't care what you do, what you say,
No.
can't erase history. And really and truly, it's not a bad thing to know, because it's like then history, then you can come together, you can, like we doing, you can have a conversation
Yeah.
about it without getting angry and stuff, to know, because it happened. So why get angry with it? Let's just have a conversation so we won't repeat this thing, again.
Yeah.
So that's what the woke part is about. And I always try to, I know my I know my boys be saying, God, you just be coming up with all of this stuff. Where you be getting this stuff? I read, I pay attention to what's going on in the world and stuff, and I bring it to my family so they'll give it to their family, and it'll just be a trickling effect, on them, so they will stay woke. So that's what wokeness is. And when you talked about the Bible, right? I think that because when I was coming up, as a matter of fact, we read scriptures from the Bible, right? And I think that when people want to bring it back, I guess they say they want to bring it back so people won't be woke, right? But I'm thinking, I don't really think people really know what's in the Bible. People, I really don't think they know. I was talking to one of my coworkers today, and we were talking about this because I was telling him we was going to talk about this tonight. And I was telling my sick, and he's a pastor, and I said, I really don't think they know what's in the Bible, right? And he just started laughing, right? And so what we did, we just started spewing out, different things that's in the Bible that, we may not want our children to read this right now, right? We don't want them to read it in elementary school. We want to have the opportunity to be able to explain a lot of things, that's in the Bible. I don't want somebody else trying to explain certain things, to my kids in school, what's in the Bible, because some of that stuff is really hard.
Yep.
Like adultery is in there, and and
Eye for an eye, two for
yeah, you don't want to, start doing that, because you don't want your kids to be beating up everybody and stuff. You don't want to be bullies and stuff. So then what you have to do, you have to start explaining, what
Yeah.
these verses mean. Exactly what does this verse mean? But people want to bring the Bible, and I have nothing against bringing the Bible in the school. I have nothing against that. But we have to understand that the United States is a free religion um, area, right? So why would we just bring one Bible in? That means that we have different beliefs that's going to the church. So that means that we have to bring all different Bibles into
Right.
the schools. Whereas if we have to do that, then we have to what's that word? We have to be able to what is that word? Be able to spread it out to all people. That's not the word that I want to use, but spread out all of the religions to all of the religions that go to the school, right? So I think that would be a hard task. That's the school. That I think that's the responsibility now, since they took it out and since they're not going to be reading it the way we read it when we was in school, right? That I think
Right.
that it should be you teach them at home, or either you be taught at Bible study and Sunday school, in the church. That's just my opinion, because now things are so different than what it was when we were going to school.
Totally different.
That you
Totally
can't
different.
you can't do that now because we have totally different religions. People have different religions in school. Whereas when we was going to school, there was only one. You only taught
That's
the
right.
King James, version of the Bible, and that's it. And now we
Yeah,
have
that was
probably
it.
I don't even know how many different versions of the Bible, we have now. So we got to think about all of those things when they want to bring wokeness in as a negative thing, right? But we have to keep teaching it in a positive thing, is that we want you to be educated. We don't want you to be walking around here and not know. You know how the scriptures say, we don't want you to be, as the ignorant people that don't know, right?
Right.
We want you to know. We want you to act like and have hope, and what it's just like, with the scripture. So you see how I brought that scripture in the 21st century. So yeah, we got to act like that we know, and the way that we know is through education. We
Yep.
got to educate ourselves.
Learning.
Yeah,
That's right.
so Tasha, that's what wokeness is.
Well, you know what? You as you were talking, I'm sitting here thinking about the things that I have been enlightened to.
Hmm.
Like, for instance, I've always, when I was younger, like in my 20s, mid 20s, when I was coming into a point in my life, when I was at a point in my life where I was developing my relationship with Christ. And so I just thought of myself as this very, very serious person. So the only thing that I needed to do at that time for me, so I can stay on the straight and narrow, was to only read the Bible, only listen to gospel.
Yeah.
Don't listen to no other music. Oh, I can't listen to that because that's the devil's music. That's the secular music. I can't listen to that. And so I will only read the Bible. I never read anything else. And furthermore, I didn't like reading then anyway,
Mm.
because it was boring. I said, reading the Bible is boring. It was boring. But then I began to read the Bible. And then it was pressed upon me in my spirit that it was okay to read something else. So the first book that I actually read, other than the Bible, was The Power of Positive Thinking
Oh yeah.
by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. And that book blessed me so. That's my, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Some people they might clutch their chest or grab their pearls when I say this. The Bible is not my favorite book. It's not. The
Oh
Bible.
no.
Oh, she said the Bible. No. It's not my favorite book. My favorite book is The Power of Positive Thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, and I'm not saying that to be like the Bible is bad. No, the Bible is not bad at all. It has some wonderful things in there because I've learned a lot from reading the Bible. And if anybody out there come across this live and watch the replay, and you heard of Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, all of his books are on positiveness, and he put scripture in everything. In all of his books, you're gonna find some scripture. You best believe that. So I have been enlightened with knowing that I can read something else other than just the Bible to learn and to know and to be woke about some things and to not be sleeping on it. And my husband, he would say to me, "You need to look at the news." No, I don't. I don't like to look at the news. He loves to look at Good Morning America. So now I started looking at Good Morning America because there are certain things on there
Yeah.
that I needed. They have good news, good feedback. So I'm looking at it so I can know what's going on in the world. So I
Yeah.
take what is good out of what I'm looking at and I apply it if it needs to be applied to my life. So knowing certain things is vital and is crucial. Like for Tulip, she's gonna be going to school in about three more years, 4 more years, and it's gonna be changed so
Yeah.
much before
Yeah.
she even gets there.
Yeah.
And it's like you said earlier, when we was growing up in school, it was totally different. They weren't talking about none of this stuff we talking about now. You
Mm-mm.
couldn't even fathom or even think about the fact that, oh, they taking music out to school. What? No, because I
Yeah.
was in band, honey. I played my clarinet. You couldn't tell me. Look, you ain't gonna take no music out of school because they didn't talk about that. That
Yeah.
didn't come across their minds.
Yeah.
So all of these things that's happening now, and it bothers me that people will take a positive thing and then turn it into something negative.
Yeah.
That just bothers me. That bothers me.
Yeah. I think
So
sometimes I think it's like sometimes I think it's like a power struggle, right? That
yeah,
if you don't maintain power, then when you see that power is slipping away, right? That you're gonna do anything and everything to be able to grab that power back. And so to
yeah,
grab the power back, you gravitate to the things that people like the most, right? And a lot of things that the people like the most is to and you know what? And I do not like saying this. I do not like saying this because I wasn't raised like this, and sometimes it's really hard for me to see this happening, now. But it seemed like that, and I'm not saying all, but it seemed like that the people want to put the foot on the black and brown race,
yeah,
again, right? And like we don't to like choke us to the point that we won't survive, right? But we're survivors. I'm just gonna let you know we're survivors.
absolutely.
Whatever you do to us, we're gonna come up, and the thing about it is that we're not gonna come up swinging because we're such forgiving people, we just keep surviving, we just keep ticking, and stuff. And it just seemed like that if you lose that power, you're going to try to use that what you think are the weakest, right? Not
Yeah,
really knowing, not really knowing the power of those individuals, the group of people, the black and brown, community, and the Asians. I'm gonna put them in there also, but you don't realize the strength that we have behind us, right? And not saying that they don't, but I think that what should happen is that since this is the United States of America, right, and the home of the home of the free, land of the free, or whatever they call it. I can't even remember what it's called anymore because it's sickening to me. It just beginning to get sickening to me. Land of the free, the home of the brave, or however they say it, right? The home of the braves, meaning the native people, because that's who they are, right? But yeah, so I think that when you begin to lose that power, just like with anything, just like even in a ministry, right? Even if you take a ministry and you feel like the leader feel like that they're losing the power, within their ministry, right? They're gonna do any and everything to try to get that power back, right? I don't care what it takes. They're gonna do something to try to gain that power back. And
yeah,
and a lot of times make a purity mess, of it. Instead of just
yeah,
humbling, humble yourself. Humble yourself in the Lord, right? If you humble yourself, God is going to exhort you, right? But a lot of people don't believe that. But if you humble yourself, I think that you will, people will be able to see that, oh yeah, you're human. You're human, right? Okay, so, we're gonna do, what we need to do in this, in this business, in this ministry, or whatever it is. And it's not about the power thing. But
right,
everybody is on this power thing, right? That that if I don't have this
yeah,
power over you, and I mean even farther, over you, then I am gonna have to do something to try to gain that power back. And I think that's what's going on here, in our United States of America, is that
yep,
feeling like that they're losing power. So you got to start inventing things that's happening. You got to invent this thing. You got to begin to try to take control, of the people, even though you don't have control and you're gonna never have control, right? That you start taking, control over individuals. Like the other day I heard, and I was just so embarrassed, right? Because I was thinking, how in the world can you talk about one of the private moments of a young girl, right? Why would you want to bring them out in the open, and we ain't never liked it. We ain't never like having periods, doggone it. I'm just gonna be honest. We ain't never like having them.
No,
I don't care
no,
who you are. I know ain't no
yeah,
girl, no woman ever like having a
no,
period, right? But
no,
now you call this thing wokeness, right? Where you want to wake up people and start telling people when you start your period and when you don't. And I thought that was so. You know what? I I started thinking this is beginning to be stupid, and I don't even like to say that word. You know, this is getting to the point that it is really
so you
bringing out
getting
people.
sick of them.
Right. It's bringing out people's stupidity, right? Because I'm thinking you bringing out one of the things that when young women, when young girls come on their period, a lot of times they be so embarrassed they want to
They
hide for
do.
a week or for a
Yeah.
whole month. It's just according on how long their period lasts. They wanna just hide, right? So why would you want to bring this out to make somebody try to tell you when they start their period and when they stop their period? I am just
That's
like,
none of your business.
it is none of your business.
Ooh,
This is my growth moment in my life, my maturing moment,
right.
in my life, and I want to share this with me. I don't want to share this with the whole world. I don't want to share if I just so happen to get pregnant, I don't want to be pregnant. I don't want to share that with the world,
Right.
right? I don't want to share all of these private moments, with the world. And that's what happening because people want to take control over your total body, right? And
Mm-mm,
I
I ain't
just
doing
don't
that.
see, and you ain't taking over my body.
No.
That's one thing that I think that we have total control over is our bodies, right? As a woman, right? Men,
Right.
a man can do whatever they want to do. They could go out
Uh,
here and have all these babies, do everything
right.
that they want to do with their private parts and stuff like that, with their total body and stuff. But then you want to take over the woman's body, and you want to call that being woke if we don't allow you to take over our bodies. I think that is really like, sometimes, girl, I'd be sitting back
No.
and I'd be saying, are they listening to what they're saying?
No.
It's crazy.
No. It's very crazy. Yeah.
It is. It make you want to do an Arsenio Hall. Hmm.
Hmm. Things
Make
can
you
make
want
you
to say,
go.
hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And see if you need to go see a psychiatrist. Do you need to go see a psychiatrist? Are you having some mother problems or some grandmother problems? That you want to take over the woman's body. What's
Right.
going on? But it's really crazy. But anyway, that's what this wokeness thing is about. But uh Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I can't think of what that other platform we own. But whatever all these platforms we own, I just want to give you a positive view of being
Yes.
woke. Okay? We're going to give you the positive part of being woke. Education. Educate yourself.
Educate yourself
That's
now.
what woke that's what wokeness is to educate yourself in the right way. Don't go off to the left, don't go off to the right, go straight ahead and educate yourself in the right way. Don't walk around here acting crazy like some of these grown-ups on television. Do not go around acting like you don't know nothing, like your parents ain't up. Boom, let me back up because some of the parents are acting like this. Okay, let me back up. Be your individual self, okay? Because sometimes the parents, something wrong with the parents too. So be your individual self and
That's
read.
right.
Reading is fundamental. I was talking to
Oh God,
somebody.
yes.
I was talking to somebody one day, and we was having a conversation. Somebody at work, and I was so embarrassed. And we was talking about something, and I was saying, God, I don't know. Oh, it was an email that came out, And I said, God, I must have just scammed through that thing. I said, I don't know what that thing said, right? And one of my coworkers said, reading is fundamental. If you
It
read,
sure
it
is.
educates you to know what you're gonna say or what you should be saying when you come into a meeting. And I was so embarrassed, I just put it up on my phone and start reading the whole email. Cause I just glance, you know, sometimes you just glance to something, you say, oh, that's not for
Yeah.
me. But then when you get to a place where you should be when you work it right, then it was for you, right? So now I read a full email. I don't care how long that email is, I read the whole thing because
Oh Lord.
educating yourself is
Mm,
fundamental. It will stop you
mm.
from looking like a person that don't know nothing. I wanted to say that FOOL word, you know, but that's what it will make you look like when you should have read the information. So
Come
yes,
on, Jesus.
huh? So yes, reading, guys,
It's
make sure you
fundamental.
educate yourself because as Webster's dictionary says, woke is being aware. Okay, being aware of things, guys, of actively attentive to important facts. Guys, we need to know facts. We need to know information. Just want to educate you on this word called woke. Okay, guys? Wokeness is good. Wokeness is a positive thing. Read,
Yep.
educate yourself. It's being aware. And we're the one, especially us, the brown, I'm brown, especially the brown and black people, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that we're black. I think all of us are beautiful shades of brown. None of us are the same color. Praise God that we are so beautiful in God's
Lord
sight.
Jesus.
But yeah, but educate yourself, especially us. We need to be educated because if we don't, we'll fall into bad situations. So please, guys, educate yourself. Okay. Now, since we got that, you want to say something else about that?
No, I'm good. You just taught me a whole lot because that's gonna look. That's gonna make me pick up a lot of these books that I got. Look, I'm gonna show you something right here, right now. Like I got this book right here. Haven't read it yet.
Girl, me too. I could pull up a book too. Let me see. I could pull up a few books. The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle. A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment.
Enlightenment.
Okay.
And that's what you just said. Woke is you being enlightened.
You being enlightened on things. And it's good to be to be yeah, what is that word? To be educated in a good amount of places, right? Because then you can hold great conversations. You
Yeah.
know, when you because sometimes you could come to people and they are professor smart. You know what I mean? And you can even get in conversations with them, right? If you just know a little bit, if you know a little bit, they'll carry the conversation a little, long, and then you just come in where they did educated you on something, and you just come in and emphasize, on what they done said to you. So it's good to always have a little piece of some education on certain things, a good amount of things, right? A multiple things, and go into conversation with somebody. I'm just letting you know now. Go in conversations with people about it and let them carry it. Again, I'm just repeating it just so you can hear it. And then you catch up on what they're saying, educate yourself while they're talking, and then you can move right on into the conversation. And then what you do is educate yourself even more on that conversation, right?
That's
Just
right.
educate yourself. You need to be educated. I'm not saying I know all that. That's why I always listen, because I listen and educate myself, and then I can go and have a conversation with you again because I done went back and read up on that thing and I know something now. Something. Notice I said something, not all. I just noticed something. Because if we were smart in everything, we just might as well lay down and die. God ain't got no earthly
For
good
real.
use for us anymore. So we don't
None.
know everything, okay? But educate yourself and know a little piece of. You know how you always no, y'all don't do that, but I do it. When I read a book, I always go to the end of the book. I read the very last chapter.
I do.
And
Yep.
you do that also. And if the
Mhm.
last chapter just get me, and I'd be praying, I said, please let this chapter just blow me away, right? And when it blow me away, it make me want to just start and just read the whole thing. And I read it. Sometimes I don't even stop till I probably got to the 10th chapter because it grabbed me. It just
Yep.
just took
Yep.
me. away reading that last chapter because I want to know how did they get to this? What transpired, through this book to make them get to this point, right? And I'm just excited. While I'm reading, I'm excited. I'm excited about, oh God, what is the next chapter going to be? What's the next chapter going to be? And boom, boom, boom. I know that's not right. It's not the right thing to do. And I didn't teach my children that way, but that's what I do. I read the very last chapter and
I don't
it
see nothing wrong with it.
I don't either. It's they some people call it cheating, but I think it's like you know what it's gonna be. So you're excited about, the meat of it, what made this ending, what made them come, again to this ending. I hope it ain't no little ones looking, because I don't want you to go and say, well, I heard on Bridging Through Conversation that all I gotta do is read the last chapter in the book. That's not what I'm saying. Am I
No,
saying
that's
that?
not what
No,
we're
I'm not
saying.
saying that. I'm not saying that. Okay, so guys, y'all share this and let's get some more some comments about how do you feel about this woke thing if you're paying attention to it, and I pray that you are paying attention to it because everything that they're saying about this wokeness involves you. It involves you, and if you don't know about it, then you can't speak on it, right? And you can't go and be an activist, on it to talk it down. One they call it the something nine, right? And it's the nine fraternities and sororities that they are really fighting a battle in Florida. And I think that should be a trickling effect, with all of the states that have the different the black sororities and fraternities, so we can fight for this thing, so we can keep our African American history in schools, and that we could keep all of our books, our black books and our brown books and our Asian books, in our schools, so we can educate our kids and know about our histories, our
Right.
history. And I'm saying histories because I said different races in there, and we need to know about, our history. And if we can't, if it's going to take us a while to get it, that means we need to teach our children, about our history. Did I speak to my mama? Hey, mama. And so we need to make sure that our race of people know about, our history. Okay, Tasha, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, the next part of this live is we're going to talk about, well, we're going to continue the conversation about what we talked about last week, where a pastor, first lady by the name of Jamila Gooden, she did something that, in my opinion, was inappropriate, where she said that she was going to do something to another lady for coming at her husband, which, hey, I'm a wife, so I can understand. And she did it in a place of worship. And so, following that, and don't get me wrong, I don't look anybody watching this, just so you know, yes, I was a member of that ministry. I am no longer there. And no, nobody didn't hurt me. No, nobody didn't. I didn't experience any church hurt in this ministry. So let me just get that out there. I just decided not to go anymore. Nobody drove me away from the church
Oh
at
Lord,
all.
I'm yawning on TV.
Nobody drove me away. But I love Apostle Fred Gooding and his wife, Pastor Jamila Gooding, and the ministerial staff. I love everybody there. Love, love, love them. And so she's a real pastor now. I will tell you that. She's a loving pastor. She's a wonderful person. I love her and her family. And so made she said an apology to how she did what she did in the recent week. And I believe that was a good thing that she did. Now, granted, well, let me just put it just like this. I ain't gonna tell you about it. Let's just let you see just a little bit of it, okay? And you tell me what
Okay,
y'all think.
okay, we're gonna see. And oh, I always keep hitting the wrong thing. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Does it show me? Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. For his compassion never fails, even when we does. His compassion never fails. They are new every single morning, and I've seen that every single morning. They are new. Great is your faithfulness. Great is your faithfulness. That right there, as I begin to reflect on this journey right now, not just a journey of life, but just a journey, just gathering together with a bunch of, I had to reflect on myself and I had to reflect on these past couple of days and even where I was last week. Nobody knows where I was. But what I want to do is I want to say, I am so sorry. I'm saying I'm sorry because it is a sacred death. And if anyone knows about the sacred places, I am familiar with them. My actions as a leader should not have taken the position behind the sacred deaths. I should have stood in the place as a leader. But what you saw was a wife. And I spoke as a wife. And it is okay to speak as a wife. But it's not okay to speak as a wife from an overseer's position and a sacred desk behind the sacred place. I am very accountable. I don't need anyone to push me when to do it, how to do it. But I am speaking from a place of humility that I had to heal. I had to heal. I had to heal so that I would know how to handle life. I am not blaming anybody. I am not doing anything but saying, I am sorry. I don't apologize. I'm sorry. When you say I'm sorry, it comes from a different place. Anyone can give an apology, but I am saying, I am so sorry that I spoke out of line. That is the bottom line. I was out of line. I thank God that I serve a God that is very forgiving. And he has shown me new mercy that even in this, I saw the hand of God. Now, I thank God for leaders. I thank God for my leader. I thank God for Bishop Coletta Vaughn. I thank God for Bishop Liston Page. I thank God for my husband. Because through this, they band together to help me not just heal, but understand where I'm going. I spoke to many first ladies around the world, and they understood some of the stuff that I was going through, if not all of it. But there was a level of them that became relatable where I was as a wife. I am a wife first. I am a wife first. I am very human, and that doesn't negate the fact that I wear this position as overseer. I ask that you please forgive me because that's what I've asked you for, forgiveness. But before I even take communion, I had to make it right. Before I stand up on the pulpit that I unfortunately did not do right by at that moment where I was, because I was at a moment, I want to say, I'm so sorry. I want to say to my congregation, I love y'all. I love y'all. See, they see the side that you guys don't see. They allow me to be transparent, a shepherd, a leader, a mother, because they see the interaction. Thank you, Chris. I want to say I apologize, but I'm so sorry, Unity Charlotte International. I'm so sorry, but I also want to say thank you for standing by me in a critical time of my life where my feelings were hurt. My feelings was hurt. And I'm going to say this. We all are going to do something wrong. And it is okay to make mistakes. But it is not okay to make the mistakes from a sacred place. And that's where I was wrong. I love you guys. Will you forgive me? Shorty, I love you too. I thank God for those of you who held me up, because there were a lot of errands in her in a situation I felt like I was weak. I love you. I thank you. To everyone who is listening, who clicked, who tagged, who shared, I'm sorry. I was wrong, and let me be accountable for what I said in a sacred desk at a sacred place. I am so sorry. I am going to guarantee you something.
I'm going to make mistakes, but that one will never happen again. I love you and I thank you. I want to be a better person, and this is why I'm here. I'm here to be a better person. I want to say yet again, I'm sorry. I love you. Forgive me, friends. Hee hee hee. Nah, I love you guys. God bless you. Be well and take care.
Okay. So what?
I'm grateful that
Okay, let's get on up out of that. Okay. Um.
I'm grateful for seeing that. I'm even grateful for even being a part of that ministry. You know, when I was there, even because I've heard a lot of things people said. You know, I didn't pay attention to that because, and I told them, you know, she ain't never done nothing wrong to me. I don't know what she done to y'all, you know, but she ain't never done wrong to me, and so I'm not going to speak, you know, bad on her or about her to anybody because she ain't never done nothing wrong to me. Her husband never. Nobody's never done anything wrong to me. Yeah, granted, there are a lot of things that I've seen that I did not like, but that's at any place. That's at any place. So my thing now is that her giving this apology was a good thing. You know, how many pastors have you known to, you know, react like that behind the sacred desk in the sacred place and come back and apologize publicly? Do you know anybody?
Mhm. Yeah. I'm. I don't. I think that the apology was good. She should have come and apologized. But again, I just think that there's something a little more to it. And I don't have nothing against her. I don't know the woman. I don't know at all. All I know is that again, there's a time and a place for everything, right? And I'm not saying that because my husband has said some things that I didn't agree with, and he came back and apologized, but then he redid it. Sometimes he would do it again, and then sometimes he would just apologize and wouldn't do it again. But in a way, I don't know. Hopefully it was sincere, but that last part got me. I think that when you're doing a sincere apology, and then it just might be me. It's just me. That's just how I work. It's not a joking matter because it's not a joking thing that you got up and you said all of these things across the pulpit, but then at the end you're gonna hee hee and ha ha like it's a joke. And I don't see, when you do that, I don't see no sincereness in it. You don't do stuff like that. If I did something to hurt your feelings, and I know that you were truly hurt, I would not do a laughing behind it like it's some kind of joke. You do things and you sincere about it. And that's what I say about, like, to like, what the world has changed a whole lot about, how you do things, and how you say things. And I guess I'm old school because, like I say, I'm 60 years old. And I think that if you're gonna give me an apology and you're gonna go on national, and I think she have a good amount of followers, which is good, that you should be really sincere about what you say. And that laughing thing, that got me. I was with her until she did the hee hee, at the end. It just didn't, it's just not sincere to me. If you're gonna do that, you don't do that. If I came and slapped you in your face, Tasha, if I came and slapped you in your face, and then I come back and I'm just saying, God, I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. And I did not mean to do that to you. But then I'm laughing all the way. You ain't gonna believe me. You ain't gonna believe that I meant what I said. What you gonna take from that is that, I'm gonna beware because she might do this again. She laughed. She really think this thing is funny that she came and slapped me in my face. She think this thing funny. So I don't know. And like I say, I do not know this lady. I do not know her. If she would come and walk in front of me right now, I probably would not know her. I was, if she would look the same way she did on this apology thing, it probably, I would say, okay, oh, that's her. That's her right there. But if she come to me, I would not know this lady. I'm just going by what I heard,
Mhm.
from what she said, right? I don't know nothing about this woman. And but I just didn't and then it was too many butts in there, and bringing everybody else in it. But this thing was about you. This thing wasn't about no other body first ladies. It wasn't about it wasn't about any of those things. Did you know before? It wasn't about none of these, nobody else but her. So I'm not gonna, if I do something, I'm not gonna bring you in my conversation about apologizing. Why would I bring you in my conversation apologizing to somebody and you didn't do it? You didn't do it, I did it. So this thing is all on me. It's all on me that I should be the one. I shouldn't try to bring my mom in it, my sister, I shouldn't try to bring my husband, my kid. I shouldn't try to bring nobody in. My church, most definitely. I shouldn't bring them. I shouldn't bring nobody in. This thing is about me. I did this thing. And I need to apologize for what I did. And I am sorry. I am sorry. This thing, I should not have never done this. This thing should have always been a first person thing. It should be a first person all the way through. And not they. And I did this and I spoke to them and I spoke to that. No, this is an I thing. I did it. I did it, and I ain't gonna bring nobody else in here because did nobody do it but me. I did it, and I am truly ashamed of what I did, and I apologize. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get if this young lady will come to me, if she would allow me to come to her and apologize to her personally, I would do it. That's how sincere I am about this apology to this young lady that I truly embarrassed. I don't know her gift unless we don't know something. I don't know her gift. I don't know. She could have had a word for my husband, but I was in me. I was in me. This was all about me, and I should apologize. But I wouldn't have brought nobody else in. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. I mean, that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. And I feel that way. Even when me and my husband have a fallout, I ain't gonna bring my kids in. That's between me and my husband.
Right.
I should apologize to him. I ain't bringing nobody else in, but it's about me. And in the same way, and I feel that same way about him. If he do something to me, don't be bringing nobody else in this thing. You did this to me, so you need to be personal. This is a personal thing that you need to apologize to me.
Well, I believe the reason why she did this is my opinion as well. I believe the reason why that she did it like that is because she is a leader. She is the first lady. She is the pastor of that, of the ministry. So you did it in front of your congregation where everybody can see you. So I can see her because I mean I know from being there the years that I have been there, I've known her, to have a heart like she does. And so I see why she apologized to the congregation and to the people, her followers, her viewers. I can see
I'm
why
not.
she
I
did it
didn't.
because
But I didn't
everybody's
say.
seeing her do it.
Yeah, but I didn't say that. I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying. She should have. I'm saying she should have. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that. But you don't bring in nobody else because nobody else did it. You did it. Why you had to get something, bring somebody else into this thing, and you did it? Because what I got out of this is that the only reason you apologize because somebody confronted your butt. The only reason you apologize is because somebody confronted you. If you bringing all these people in here, that means somebody done chastised your tail. And the only reason you apologize is because somebody has confronted you about this thing. You didn't feel guilty or anything about that. You did it because somebody told you you need to apologize. Now you know when you done something wrong. You know when you have offended somebody. And she
Right.
knew that she had done something wrong. Nobody from the outside should have had to really come in and say anything. Because I
Right.
think that if she wouldn't have gotten the chest time, she probably wouldn't have never apologized. But somebody said something to her and she had to apologize. And yes,
Maybe
she
so.
should have because she was in the church. She said it to her people instead of preaching the word. She said she was in front of her people. So she should have apologized to her people. And she should
Hmm.
have apologized to that young lady, whoever she is. I don't even know. I don't know who
Oh
she
yeah,
is.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
She should
Yeah.
she should have personally apologized to her if she would have listened. because in the beginning, I don't think she should have even brought it across the pulpit. Because if it happened before church, if it happened a day or two before that, she should have handled that thing before she came to church. You don't
Agree.
bring that. You don't bring stuff like that across the pulpit. You know how some people say, "Well, where it happened, you could. I could do. It's just like she's saying, this is my church. I can say whatever I want to say." No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. No, you can't. I just
Yeah.
tell my husband that. No, you can't say everything you want to say. You can't.
Right. I agree. That's
You
right.
know, you're ministering to God's people. You minister to hurt people. She probably
Right.
was ministering to somebody. Somebody in there might have been having thoughts anyway about them, something about their husband or whatever, whatever, whatever. And that might have just pushed them off the edge or whatever. You got when you talking to people, and I'm saying this because like as a chaplain, when I go in and I speak to people, right? I had to be aware of what I say to people, right? Because I can say one little word can push them off the edge, right? And
Right.
that's the same. It's a ministry. That's the same thing because I'm still in ministry. I'm
Still in ministry.
you're in ministry, so you got to
Right.
watch what you say, to people. And if she said she been in ministry as long as she been, she an overseer, and I was trying to write down what she said she was and stuff, and how long she's been in ministry. You should know that. And I know other pastors do it because I listen to other pastors and stuff, and they basically do the same thing and stuff. But I think you should be more aware because you don't know who's sitting out in your audience. You don't know what word they wanted to come in and get that day. You don't know if somebody was getting ready to come and commit suicide, but they say, no, I'm going into this church. I just want God to help me, right? And then you come into church and you get in this mess. No, you just don't do that. But then, like I say, some people say I'm old school, some people say I'm not, but I feel like that I'm in the middle of it, of old and new, because tradition is good too, and new is most definitely good. But
Hmm.
but I think that you should always consider, who you're ministering to. And like I was saying about the chaplaincy, that if I go in and somebody know that they're dying, and you come in and you tell them, well, God, the word of God says that, don't act like I was the scripture I used earlier. Don't act like you don't know, because if you know God, when you open your eyes, you're going to be right in the presence, of them, and they already crying and they're scared of, dying and stuff. What I just keep layering the cake,
Mm-mm.
and just putting it on for them, and then they just crying, and I just keep talking about death with them, and telling them, no, don't worry about it, don't be scared, and boom, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to console them, and I'm going to let them cry, and I'm going to listen to them, and I'm going to repeat back what they're saying to me, some of the things, but say it in a way that's going to comfort them, not push them over the edge. I don't want to push nobody over the edge. I want to bring them from the edge. And that's
Right.
what we should be doing as leaders in the church. We bring them off the edge to say, come, come, come. Our arms are open. Also, we're God's workers, and our arms are open. Come, and we're gonna comfort you, and we're gonna try our best to, lead you in the way that what leads you to what you're looking for, right?
Right.
Which is God. The majority of the time, they're looking for God. They're looking for God because they feel like that they haven't, that He's not there. He is there, but they don't feel like that He's there. So our job is to minister to them and let them know that God is there and He has never left you. He's never forsake you. And boom, not to be talking about my doggone husband and some woman. So
Right.
I don't know. But again, like I said in the beginning, this is my opinion. Everybody have their, opinion on things, and that's my opinion. And if she would not have done that laugh, that's just like that's just like somebody saying bye Felicia. You know what they're saying, that they be saying bye Felicia. That's
Yeah.
what her ending was like to me. Bye Felicia, you take it the way you want to take it. You know,
Right.
that's what that was. That was to me. But I understand, how people feel about individuals, because that's how I feel about my mentor, Reverend Lige. She can't do no wrong to me. You know, I feel that way about her, but she wouldn't do nothing like that. But I'm just saying, I feel that way about her, that she's an awesome pastor, and I could go to her whenever I, feel like that I need something, that I can go to her. But but that right there, I don't know, Tasha. I mean, I know my opinion, but like I say, everybody has their opinion,
Yes,
on
ma'am.
things. And this is an open conversation that, you know, we agree and, and we don't agree, on certain things. But this right here, I don't think it wasn't a great apology. If I had to rate it from a 1 to a 10, it would be a 2.5.
Woo, you gave one 2.5.
It would be a 2.5 because you got to dissect words, Tasha. You got to dissect words and everything that's
Body
in it.
language, you got to
Yeah,
dissect,
yeah.
how they say it.
How they
So,
say
yeah.
it. Yeah, you got to dissect that. And like I say, I don't know this woman. I don't know her. But I'm just going by what she said before when she was over the pulpit talking, and what she's saying now. That's what I'm going by that. That's all I know. I have never really heard a full sermon. I heard her husband off the chain when he did that the sermon about the generation of curses with the fathers and stuff.
Mhm.
Nate sent me that, and that was real. I enjoyed that, but I've never heard her truly speak anything. But that sermon that her husband did was, somebody should have they should have put that on a CD and gave it to all of the men in the world to let them know that the reason why you doing this here, and why you don't feel like that you can come out of it. It's a generational curse that you need to learn, you know, how to break it. It's instilled in you, but you can break this generational curse, within you. So that was
Yeah,
that was
that's
good.
sermon right there going down as a classic.
Yeah, that was a good sermon, and I listened to it because I have 3 boys, and I wanted to make, I would always talk to them about that and stuff. Even though I'm a female, and certain things happen to me, it still can go over to your sons, right?
Yeah,
You let them know that, you explain to them what happened, and how we can break this thing. And we broke it. I don't have none of my sons had kids when they were teenagers, and my grandbabies, they fallen in that same route. So you can break generational curses, and I like that, and I hope people really listen to that sermon, from him and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
so that's
Well,
what I do.
I'm glad we had this conversation. See, that's what I love about being doing this with you, is because you're you're older in age than I am, and experience in some things.
Yeah,
Some things.
some things.
Yeah, cause look, cause you
And
look,
then,
you ain't
but,
dated no old men like I have. So
no,
yeah,
but you know what though? To be honest, have I already told my husband this? I want to make sure I told him this before I say it on this thing. Now I did. Now my goal was to marry a man 15 years older than me. That's what I would
wow.
always say. I said I want to marry an old man, and I think I said that because of the men that were in my life. They were older and they were so protective, of us. And I just wanted to marry somebody that old, because I just felt like that, oh God, if my uncles and my brothers and things, they're gonna protect me like this. I want to marry somebody old that I know that's gonna do the same thing. And I was a child. Just because he was old, that don't mean that they was gonna do the same thing they did. But that's what was in my mind. To
Yeah.
marry a man at least about anywhere between 13 to 15 years older than me. Yeah.
Well, honey, let me tell you, that's a whole nother conversation. Whole
Yeah.
nother conversation. But I'm glad we
Yes.
had this conversation, because you and I, we come from different eras in our life. And so when we do disagree about something, it don't be nothing like to the point where I don't want to do this with you no more. Ain't none of
No.
that. So I mean, the chemistry that we have with conversations and topics is just, man, it just blows me away that we can sit here and we can talk about these things, because it's important, coming from my standpoint as the younger generation, from my era, and coming from your perspective, from your generation, from your era. So, And look, you know I've always respected you and things that you said. You were quiet, but you're not quiet
Now I could still get in that quiet mode. I was telling, I don't know who that was. We was talking and they was saying that, I could stay in my house for a whole week and just sleep. And I looked at her and I said, "Oh my God," and found somebody like me. Oh my God. I done found somebody like me. I said, "Girl, you can stay in your house for a whole week and not go out of the house." She said, "Yeah, girl."
I
And
can
she said,
too. Sure.
and sleep. And she said, "I love to sleep." I said, "Yeah, girl. I try my best to make sure I get my and that's been I don't even know how long in my life that's been. I have to get my 8. If I don't get my 8 to 9 hours of sleep, I am like sleepy the whole day. So I'm like, I have to get like now. We starting this thing late like this, and all I do every time I go to church, and when I get up to go to work, I be praying. God, I hope Tasha's hours change. I said her hours need to change because I'm in the bed by now. Doggone it.
Look, I've been in the
I,
bed too, but you know what? This is the one night that I will sacrifice.
I, and that's what
I
I'm
will
doing.
sacrifice.
I am truly sacrificing because I am normally in the bed. I know one day my husband looked at, he said, "You still up?" I said, "I'm live." And I'm talking about, yeah, because I normally be asleep before anybody go to sleep. I'm asleep. But guys, thank you guys so very much for coming out and being with us on Bridging the Conversation, closing the gap through communication. You got to communicate,
Yep.
to have a
Yep.
conversation, and you can't always have the same belief. All opinions are valid, right? That we can agree. And I don't know about that agree to disagree and stuff like that. I think that you have your way of believing, I have my way of believing, and
Mhm.
then we all come together with it and still have a good time with the conversation. And that's the
Yes.
way I believe in having conversations and learning from each other. Even though you think this way and I think that way, we're still learning from each
Yep.
other. And that's the most important thing about having a conversation is that I'm not pulling all of the power. They're not pulling, she's not pulling out of power. We powering in together. And that's what we do through and bridging through conversations. My name is Diane, Spirit Love. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it but love me back. And I love you, love you, love you, love you so much, guys. Be safe out there. COVID is still real. Rhinovirus is real. RSV is real, the flu is real, the pneumonia is real. All of those things are still real. So, guys, you be careful out there and take care of yourself. Tasha.
All right. Well, y'all know who this is. This is Tasha, aka TC Knows. No, I do not know everything, but I just shared with you just a little bit what I do know. I learned something about being woke, about being enlightened, about being educated. So you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to enlighten myself. I'm going to continue to educate myself. Also, we talked about how, when a pastor does something across the sacred desk, yeah, there should be an apology. Absolutely. There was a disagreement somewhat that, one side said that they feel like it wasn't really sincere. And the other side said that, that it was sincere. Hey, but that's life. And we're going to go with that. But I want to make this announcement. So, oh, so if you
Yeah,
feel like
right.
you've been, look, if you feel like you're a black sheep, it's all right. The world say that it's a bad thing. It's not. It's a good thing because guess what? You are living your life out loud. You're
Yep.
going in a different direction than everybody
Yes.
else. Also, too, I have started my YouTube channel. It's called One TC Knows because guess what? There's only one. And you're looking at her. You're looking at her. I'm going to have everything that I believe for my tribe, my community, that is going to be a blessing to you. But right now, I'm doing a series on Tuesdays about old men, about old men, in my experience. with old men. Yes, I'm going to talk about that. So you can catch me on IG at Tasha.TC Knows. You can catch me on Facebook, Tasha TC Knows. You can catch me on YouTube again at one TC Knows. And you can also catch me on TikTok, Tasha TC Knows. No, yeah, TC Knows. And hey, I'm telling y'all, it's about to get live for real. Y'all gonna hear me say some stuff y'all didn't even know I could say or even talk about. It's not gonna be bad. It's not gonna be too bad.
All right, go out and listen to TC Knows. And
Yes. Oh, and go
and
to Amazon and get Spirit Love's book. I cannot wait till the other one comes out.
oh yes, yes. And it's almost, guys, it is almost there. I'm just trying to get the cover um situated. And the next time we come on, I have the name and all that stuff. But just let me get the cover situated and it will come out. I'm really not thinking about it until like April, March. Yeah, March, April. April is when it'll truly come out, guys. And I just pray that you really, enjoy this book. It's different stories from different women's from different areas in life. And y'all, I'm telling you, it is awesome. And one other reason why I'm a little late, because somebody else wanted a piece of it. So I'm waiting on their story to come in. So, and that'll be the easy part. The book cover is what I just need to finish up. And guys, I'm really excited. And don't forget, guys, whoever's out there, go out and, well, I don't know what I did with it. Go out and get my poetry book.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Self.
Guys, go out and get my poetry book. Advertise for me. Self Sudden Epiphanies Life Force, guys. It's really a great poetry book for a beginner. I'm doing more, so it'll be another book, to come out soon after the this other one that I'm doing. When I finish that, then it's going to be another poetry book coming out. So, guys, please support us, okay? Support. I had so many books in here. I supported so many different people. Every time when somebody say, I wrote this book and boom, 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 and I just go get it and read it. And I'm going to be honest with you. All of the books that have been advertised to me have been awesome books. And I'm honest. If the book wasn't good, I'm sorry, but I would
He would
let you
tell
know.
you.
I would
Yeah.
let you know if the book, wasn't good for me. Wasn't good for me. But every book that I have brought so far that's been from local authors have been awesome, guys. Y'all, you should support your local authors and anybody else that's doing something local here, guys. Please support them. Fantasia, any and everything that Fantasia do, because she's from North Carolina, you should support her. Anything that John P. Key do, you should support him. Anything that Dennis Reed do, you should support him. Anything that Ronald Gilliam do, you should support him. Anything that Tasha do, you should support her. Anything that I do, you should support me. And anybody else that that's local here, who Lejeune and who else is local here, Tasha? I can't think of nobody else
Uh,
local here.
oh, Donna
Lejeune
Lawrence.
Thompson. Donald
Just
Lawrence,
June
he's
Thompson.
local, but now is he in
Chicago,
California?
I think.
Chicago. He's in Chicago, but he's still a native, here. So anybody that's local, I'm not telling you not to go on the outside, but you should support your own before you go out, to support it, all of the other. And Tina Woodard. She's trying to get her CD out there, guys. Please support our local people and get them out, on the
Yeah.
market and help them to be famous. They're not going to forget you because we're local. We're not going to ever forget our people here. So please support it. That's why Fantasia is still here. That's why John P. Key is still here, because he's not forgetting where he came from. So, guys, please support your local people. So, in saying that, go out on Amazon. It's Amazon. And I know y'all know my last name is Gillian, but this is my maiden name, Diane Stewart. That's what I do my writing and stuff in as Diane Stewart. Go out and get my poetry. Use it in your sermons. That's what they basically like. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out. And again, we love you. Nothing you can do about it. Be safe.
I want to say one more thing before we go, and because you're talking about support. So a friend of ours, she was a guest on our show, Miss Suzanne Pearson Stroud. She's also known as Miss Straight Talk. She actually did a reel and she talked about the difference between supporting someone and celebrating them. I would encourage you to go watch it because you will learn something.
Can you tell me which one is the better right quick? Supporting or
She's
celebrating?
well, from when I watched it, I believe that she said when you support somebody, you buy something of theirs. You buy something of theirs. That's the way you're supporting them.
Right.
Okay. When you're celebrating them, you are going to their events.
Yep.
You are calling them and checking on them.
Mhm.
You are joyous, like happy, genuinely
Yeah.
happy for them when
Hmm.
you're celebrating them. When you're
Yep.
supporting them, oh yeah, you go buy the book or you go buy a t-shirt or you go buy whatever they, have, but you don't go to their events. You don't look at, any of their lives, or you don't do none of those things. You just buy
Right.
something, that's it. But
Right.
when you're celebrating them, you are
It
all
is.
in for them. You are
Mhm.
uplifting them. You are encouraging them. Yes, you're still buying, whatever they have, but you also are there. You're
Right.
present.
Right. That's the
So
difference.
celebrate.
Yeah, that's the difference. Support and celebrate your local. Okay, I'm gonna start saying that then. Support and celebrate your local artists. Okay,
Yes,
and love them to no end.
that's
Because
right.
they belong to us. They belong
That's
to
right.
us. If we don't support them, who's going to support them? Good and you. Okay. If you don't
That's right.
support them, you know but then when they win something, then you want to say, oh, they from Charlotte, North Carolina. They are on.
Exactly.
No, you support them when they don't make it up there. You're the ones that's gonna help them to get to where they need to get in life. That's another bridging through conversation. Okay. All right, guys. Past my bedtime. I love you guys.
Mine
All
too.
right.
Love y'all. Mwah. Love
Peace.
you. Peace.